Athens, Georgia, the birthplace of music icons REM and the B-52s. But this small college town is also the breeding ground of many golfing greats. Billy Payne and Bubba Watson, two men intrinsically linked to the Masters, are former University of Georgia alumni, and now a New Zealander is about to graduate from this golfing powerhouse. It's a long way from Auckland's North Shore to America's deep south, but for former national team member Scott McAlpine, it's a chance of a lifetime.
It's sort of been a dream of mine my whole life to play golf in the States at a university, and was lucky enough to end up here in Athens at a school I love and golf team I love, and coaches and everything are great. I basically came to the college because of the golf. And the reason why I chose this college is because of the coaches and the pedigree the program has. They've won a couple of national championships pretty recently. There's a lot of really good golfers that have come from this program.
Scott's teammates when he arrived at the Athens campus included Harris English and Russell Henley, two recent PGA Tour winners. As part of the five-man University of Georgia Bulldogs, Scott's team traverses America, working their way up the national ladder.
We play throughout the United States. We play in Puerto Rico, we play in Las Vegas, we go up north and play, we go to Florida, we go to Texas and play. Wherever the best tournaments are, we'll go play. We'll set our schedule to play against the best teams in the country so we can compare ourselves.
The Bulldogs have won their conference on countless occasions and been crowned national champs twice. Georgia is considered one of the premier athletic colleges in America. And it's easy to see why, with playing and training facilities that would put Super Rugby franchises to shame.
This is Sanford Stadium, home of the Georgia Bulldogs. 94,000 people is the capacity. Sport's huge here in the South, especially at the University of Georgia, and as you can see by this stadium, there's a lot of money spent on sport, about $94 million each year by the university.
The former New Zealand rep gets to work out 24/7 as an elite athlete amongst emerging stars of basketball, football, track and gymnastics. And the Bulldogs' golf facilities are just as impressive, with an 18-hole golf course the tip of the iceberg.
We have our own end of the driving range. We have one putting green and two chipping greens, kind of just with different undulations and things like that. And then at the end of the range, we have an indoor facility, which has TrackMan, all the videos, things like that. Everything's there for you. Whatever clubs you want, whatever balls you want, whatever you want to do, whatever coaches you want access to. It's just the best of the best, really, and that's why a lot of people from overseas try to come here, and that's why there's a lot of really good American amateur golfers that play in college.
But it's not just a fine-tuned swing and the southern drawl Scott has gained during his 4.5 years at the University of Georgia.
I'm going to graduate with a degree in housing with an emphasis on property management, which is a mixture of 4 and 5 classes each semester, but academics come first. It's the same with any sport. There's a really good support system with mentors, advisors, tutors. The scholarship covers your university expenses, basically, so they look after housing, food, and expense to go to college. It's a really good support system they have.
Scott's golfing scholarship also gives him a first-hand experience of US college life, growing up in Auckland, a world away from his Athens campus.
It's very different. I'd never been here until I actually came to the University of Georgia. I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't even know where this university was. You know, we're an hour and a half east of Atlanta in Georgia. It's very old school. I found it very different to back home. Everything's kind of like you see on like old Southern movies, I guess. The downtown scene's fun, the fraternity scene, the sorority scene. It's basically what you see on TV is pretty accurate. It's the way it is up here. It's kind of hard to believe.
Georgia is America's golfing heartland, and teeing it up for the Bulldogs allowed Scott an experience most golf fans would only dream of.
We get to go down to Augusta every year and play Augusta National, which is really special. It's hard to explain. You pull in the gates and it's just everything's perfect. Magnolia Lane's perfect. You got the flowers there right at the base of the clubhouse. You got the flags up. We go play the par 3 course and eat some lunch and go play 18 holes, and it's really special.
But halfway through the dream scholarship, Scott's golf career was suddenly and literally shattered.
I was down on my friend's farm down South Georgia, and I flipped it. Basically, it's a 4-wheeler, and it was on top of me. Luckily, someone was behind me, and we lifted it off, and I pulled myself out. I'm still on its side, and I looked down, and I could saw my bones were just like hanging out. I didn't really comprehend at the time. Like, it wasn't really painful because I was sort of in shock. It just kind of felt hot. There was a lot of bleeding and all that kind of stuff, so I snapped my left leg. Both the bones came out of my leg and sort of put me in hospital for about 10 days. I think I had 7 surgeries over 10 days to reconstruct my leg, and kind of had to get, start from scratch with trying to learn to move my foot again and all that kind of stuff.
Scott may have been 14,000 kilometres from home, but being a world away ended up being a blessing in disguise.
This is my scar from when I broke my leg. I did a compound fracture of the tib fib, which is both the bones in the lower leg. Stopped me from my golf career, but probably couldn't have been in a better place with the facilities I have around me. So I spent about 2 hours a day for 18 months in here, learning basically to move my toes again, get my feeling back in my feet. Under the bad circumstances, I was probably in the best place for something like this to happen.
The scar remains, but miraculously, Scott is back swinging the club as good as ever.
I'm back to normal now, and that's a credit to the training staff here at Georgia. They did a great job. I can go out, use all the facilities. I can still use the training staff here. I still live with teammates and things like that, so it's great. They really looked after me.
Scott has experienced the best and the worst you could throw at a young Kiwi living away from home, and he'd recommend the college scholarship experience to any aspiring New Zealand golfer.
I would say get in contact with coaches earlier rather than later. I think my biggest downfall was I didn't contact them early enough. There's a lot of good golfers in New Zealand, so I don't see why they should hold back. Even if you didn't come here in golf scholarship, I recommend people come here and go to college if you can. It's just a great experience. There's so many things that you learn along the way. Even if you go back home, it's good to have a US degree. You've learned so much. You met so many people. You make friends for life. I mean, honestly, it's one of the best things I've ever done.